Hi, this is Adam Schefter from ESPN. Please join us on the latest Know Them From Adam podcast with Dwight Howard as he talks about Kobe Bryant, James Harden, and the one young NBA player he'd pay to see.
This is the best of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Le Batard is off today. Mike Golic Jr., Gojo, sitting in with us till 1 o'clock Eastern. Lot to get to today. Darrelle Revis arrested. We'll get into that. NBA All-Star Weekend coming up. Dominique Wilkins going to join us at noon Eastern to discuss that. So we got a lot to get to today, yes?
He was charged, and his
attorney
is saying that he's going to be turning himself in shortly.
Okay. Let's start over. Darrelle Revis charged, not arrested yet. His attorney said that he's going to turn himself in. NBA All-Star Weekend is upon us. Dominique Wilkins will join us at noon Eastern. Amin Al-Hassan's going to join us 1 hour from now. Adnan Virk going to join us at 12:30 for a segment we like to do when Dan's not here, but you and I love doing it. You will be able to call in and talk about movies, baseball, and Canada with Adnan Virk at 12:30. So there's a lot of stuff to get into. Draymond Green spoke with Mark Stein. We'll play some of those cuts for you in just a second. But we start with steak sauce because Mike Golic Jr. is in today. Mike Golic Jr. is paying off his first ever grid of death punishment. It's something we do during the football season. We pick helmets out of a bucket, and if the helmet you pick loses, then you have to pick something off the grid of death. Mike selected to drink a 10-ounce bottle of A1 steak sauce that he will have to drink between now and the end of the show. And we are all wondering what his strategy is going to be. Now, a real Golic, a true Golic, and we might have to bring a Golic on here, I think would drink the entire thing one shot, no problem. That's what I think. Now, it just dawned on Mike Golic Jr. because he picked up the bottle of steak sauce for the first time, and Mike Ryan, he looks at me, and he says, there's a lot of sauce in here. Yeah, Mike, there's 10 ounces of steak sauce in there, and you have to drink every single drop of it. All of it.
Listen, it's like the pound of feathers, pound of rocks thing. Yeah, they're both a pound, but this feels like a lot more right now. The sauce here, there's some extra weight to this sauce today. And I was just a little shocked.
Right.
A little shocked that I'm getting a recipe for cheddar potato pie on the back. I'm shocked by a lot right now.
Really?
Yeah. Looks pretty great, too.
Sure it does. Have you thought about this at all? Because we discussed it during the local hour, and Mike, who was great at peer pressure, he's the best at it. Mike has said things into my headset, and basically what he says is, don't let down the show. Don't embarrass the show. Don't embarrass yourself, and don't embarrass the show. And he has said that to me, and it's resulted in me getting my head shaved. It's resulted in a number of bad things. Mike did the same to you. But now what he is pressing on is what I'm pressing on, where a real Golic, a true Golic man, would open that bottle and drink the entire thing one shot. You could do it however you want. I'm just saying, if you want to make the family proud, you might want to just chug the whole thing like it's a beer. If you want to make Dad proud, if you want to make Dad and Jake proud, and perhaps Mom, this is what you have to do. Because I don't think Sydney cares about anything you do. Sydney, your sister. But if you want to make Mom and Dad happy...
Are you flexing like your Golic family knowledge?
Listen,
right now?
I spend more...
That's the first time my sister's ever been name-dropped in my face.
Well, no, that's... Yes, it is. Yes, I am flexing my Golic family knowledge, and I have spent more time and spoken to the Golics in the last year, I want to say, than my own family. I've spoken to your dad in the last year more times than I've spoken to my dad in the last year. I love the Golic family. I'm like an adopted member of the Golic family. Your mom loves me. Is that fair? Your mom loves me. Is that accurate?
Yeah, she's a big Stugotz fan.
Thank you.
Go, Joe. Is he exaggerating the tiniest bit here? Because it seems as though...
Of course he's exaggerating. He's met my mom once.
10 minutes. Great conversation, though.
Yeah, she wasn't quite as impressed.
Yeah.
It was a little underwhelming on her part, but...
Really?
I'll take part in this.
Because it seemed like, when we were in the moment, it seemed like she was really impressed with me. But I read that wrong?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm all for coming down here and keeping up that idea because I am the something on the side. Like, I know right now somewhere Dan just feels a pit in his stomach.
Yes.
Knowing that I'm coming down here playing in your guys' bed a little bit.
He has his Pablo. I have my Gojo.
We're happy together, Dan.
Very happy together.
I do things for him.
Oh,
you can't even imagine.
Oh, you have no idea. Dan has never done, nor will he ever do. So how are you going to do this? Mom would tell you to do what?
Mom would probably tell me to pace it a little bit.
Right.
I keep looking at the label.
Yes.
There's a lot of sodium in here.
Yeah.
And
Salt, key ingredient.
Yeah. Do I get to drink water during this?
Yeah, man. The only rule is that you have to finish that bottle by the end of the show. If you want to put it on, you can get a steak if you'd like, but you have to finish all 10 fluid ounces.
Well, wait a second. He can't get a steak. He can't order a steak here from the Clevelander and dip the steak into the steak sauce, right? No, everyone stood up back there. That Chris is outraged. Mike, you can't let him do that.
What do you mean I can't let him do it? The rule is finish 10 fluid ounces of steak sauce.
Right, but not with a steak. Fat Chris, what's going on here?
Technically, he can do it, but it's bad form.
I'd feel even wrong about that one, and I've been mental jujitsu'd as much as anyone can be in this situation from the jump.
Yeah.
Mike Ryan got one over on me.
Yeah.
Very, very easily, too. It did not take a lot of product.
Wasn't hard.
He just basically took the template of do it for the show, don't embarrass the show, and said do it for your family. Do it for the Golic name. Like, that's the first. People always ask me, is having your dad be who he is ever been a negative? This is the first time.
Right.
Because it was thrown in my face as don't embarrass your bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not going to. So instead of wearing a Gumby costume, which worked out really well for you guys because Dan looked great in it.
Yes, he did.
I'm going to drink a bottle of A1 steak sauce and probably have a heart attack after.
Okay. All right. Well, Dad will certainly be proud.
The blood's on Mike Ryan's hands.
How would Dad do it? He would chug it, right?
Oh, yeah, because Dad lives to embarrass you guys. You saw that already.
Yeah, I don't think you should chug that.
Bad idea.
I think you should, give your body, a recovery time.
Don't pace yourself. Pace yourself.
Billy, he's got to do it.
No, hold on a second.
Has Allison gotten to you?
Hold on a second. I want to hear from Guillermo because he has an attitude towards this. He's upset. What happened here? You're feeling the same thing I'm feeling. Mike Ryan is treating Mike Golic Jr. in a way that he would never treat any of us. He's giving him all kinds of outs and stuff, man.
Listen to me. You do not need us for anything. You don't need to be friends with us. You don't need to do this to yourself. This is completely unnecessary. And by the way, everyone else has a ton of outstanding stuff also, so there's no rush to get any of this done. Don't do it.
This has nothing to do with us.
Billy, Gojo's not here that often.
Right,
This might be his only chance to do it before Sarah Spain institutes some sort of punishment on him.
Right.
Yeah. That is true. I never know. They always say act like you've been there before. I act like I'm never going back. I don't know.
We don't know. This may be his last appearance.
Right. No, you're drinking the steak sauce.
Because the steak sauce might kill him.
Yes. I don't know what I misread Guillermo there. I thought he was fuming over how Mike was treating Gojo, saying he could use it on a steak.
No, Billy's just hasn't been the same since the Onion. Yeah. It's changed him for the worse. His whole view on the world is warped now post-Onion.
For those of you who don't know, Mike, do you have the sound of him biting into a raw onion like it was an apple? Guillermo, he had a grit of death punishment, and he had to eat a raw onion. And I told him to dice it up. I told him to dice that thing up. Dice up the onion, and he didn't listen to my advice, and he decided to take a bite out of it and eat it like it was an apple. That would have been the perfect time to play the sound.
It was, but I had a USA Today reporter talking about Daryl Rivas, and that would have been kind of odd.
We'll get to Rivas in a second here. Anyway, I told Guillermo, let's try this again, to dice it up into very small pieces and eat it that way, and Guillermo insisted on eating it like it was an apple.
Oh.
That's the first bite Guillermo took of a raw onion, and then he spent the next 5 days in the hospital.
Yeah, that's the actual sound. That's not some sound effect that I got from YouTube or something.
It does. It sounds like a fake movie sound.
Oh my God, man! I think Le Batard threw up after he did that. Did he not?
Well, Billy did.
He threw up before I did it.
Yeah, did he throw up before?
Yeah, Le Batard threw up in the garbage can right next to me.
It set off a chain reaction.
Sympathy vomit?
No, it's just nasty, man.
That's the actual moment that the soul left the body right there. He was changed forever.
I can still taste it when I hear it.
Oh, man.
Just don't do it. You don't need to do this.
Make sure to shake well.
Oh, boy. Are you going for some right now?
I just want a little sip. That got me excited. That got me. It's the first bite right there. I feel like we need the first sip.
Ooh. Here he goes. Here he goes. For those listening on radio, Gojo has sniffed the bottle of A1 steak sauce.
He's decanting it.
He's going in. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
It's actually really good.
All right.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. He's a Golic.
This can be fun. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. We'll compare rates for you so you get the best deal, even if it's not with us, saving you time and money. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today. The NBA's All-Star Weekend.
You just burped some up, didn't you? You just burped some up. I saw you. You almost threw up, Golic. You almost threw up. I saw it, Gojo.
Heartburn.
I got bad acid reflux. I've realized now the combination of these two things is not going to end well for anyone involved.
You want me to read that?
Nope. The NBA All-Star game begins tonight, or All-Star Weekend begins tonight. I'm going to die.
Dan Le Batard.
Thank you, Google.
Stugotz.
Thank you, Google.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Catch me and Stugotz every Sunday for weekend observations from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Tune in this Sunday for the 66th NBA All-Star Game live from New Orleans. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on most ESPN radio stations.
How you feeling, Gojo?
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Different. A lot different.
You're never going to be the same.
Like, I heard you say that, and I sort of laughed. And I don't want to describe it as, because it's obviously not drunk. But everything inside right now, from like the chest on to the throat, is in a strange place. And I know it's only going to get worse because now we've divvied these up into shot glasses that look like they're full of red mud.
And it doesn't end when you're done with it. Like, you have to live with this for like the next day, 2 days. It's not going to be fun.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I need to call in advance and apologize to the hotel.
Right, and you're spending the entire weekend down here because you have Charlie Weiss's golf tournament on Sunday, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be here. So it's not going to mix well with everything else I put in my body this weekend either.
So are we wrecking your weekend here? Like, because, Mike, I listen, I've known you for a little bit now, okay? I've gotten to know you pretty well. You almost threw up during the Sports Center, okay? You were close, and during the break, you were not your normal self. Like, there was some stuff going on there.
So I've got pretty bad acid reflux to start with.
Right.
This is basically all vinegar, sugar, and about 2,000% of your daily allotment of sodium.
Right.
So none of those things were going to mix well. You can ask any guy I played with to a T, and I spent most of my time basically throwing up. Before games, in a huddle.
Really?
Every guy I played with probably has a story about me vomiting near or around them that they can fall back on. So I'm just giving you guys fair warning right now. We could all get a little closer today.
Well, I'm the closest to you, so it's... You're not going to do an entire shot, are you? Like, you're not going to do a shot. Your dad would be done by now, by the way. He'd be done. Done with that. 2 bottles, probably.
That's probably true. He'd be cracking open a third.
Yeah.
It's a savage.
Yeah. It really is. You're not going to don't do a shot right now, please.
Why not?
All right, do it.
All right.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
There's a little left.
That's bad.
Yeah. You might want to get your finger in there and get all the stuff out. Yeah.
That's a Golic.
That's a Golic.
That's a Golic.
I'm a man.
That's a Golic.
Big, strong man. How about that, Dad?
If drinking something had a sound, because that was nasty, and if you could hear someone drinking something nasty, it would sound like this. I'm not certain it's not worse than the onion that Guillermo ate.
Well, his reaction's certainly a lot more positive than Guillermo's was after the first couple of bites.
Yeah.
I feel like Guillermo's outward reaction is the internal war that's happening in my body right now.
That's so funny. Mike, we were discussing a little bit transition from you doing shots of steak sauce to Darrelle Revis.
I'm ready to see how you pull this one off.
I'm not. I'm just going to go straight to Darrelle Revis. We were talking during the break, and I know you're interested in the story. And for those of you who are not familiar with the story, Darrelle Revis has been charged with 4 felony counts and 1 misdemeanor count. This happened on Sunday. I'm wondering how it took so long for us to find out about it, but here we are. And as Mike said in the first segment, it looks like Darrelle Revis is going to turn himself into authorities. And the story is, I think Sunday morning, 2:35-ish in the morning, some guys approached Darrelle Revis with a phone in their hands and were asking him if he's Darrelle Revis and videotaping Darrelle Revis. And according to the attorney, Darrelle Revis thought for a second that it was perhaps a weapon. Took the phone, threw it in the street. Both guys were knocked out. What are your thoughts on this entire thing? Because I think you're probably going to lean towards Darrelle Revis is entitled to some level of privacy, even if he's just walking around the streets. And I would tell you that being a star of Darrelle Revis' magnitude, part of being a star comes with people coming up to you at any point in the day. It doesn't have to be 2:35 in the morning, asking, hey, is that Darrelle Revis? They might want to take a picture. They might want to shoot a video. That comes with being a celebrity.
It does. So there's kind of two conversations here, because there's that general one about just the way we treat celebrity in general and what you're expected to deal with based on the platform you're afforded and how much money you make. Because for most people, all of these things, whether it's the Charles Oakley situation, whether it's other instances that pop up like this,
right,
they usually can't look past the paycheck. Like, this is something you're just expected to deal with. Then the other aspect of it is actually where and how this happened, because where he was on the south side of Pittsburgh, while that's the night scene there in Pittsburgh and like a great place to go out, it's where a lot of young people do go out, there are parts of the areas that are really tough areas. Like when I was, so my rookie year, I went to camp with the Steelers. I was there in the offseason program. Mike Adams, a year older than I was, had been with the Steelers for a year already.
Right.
That offseason, when I got there, was the offseason that Mike Adams got stabbed over on the south side in the stomach multiple times in a situation that, when you hear this, sounded pretty similar. Like a bunch of guys walked up on him on a road that's just off that main street back there over on the south side, right by his truck, asked if it was his truck or who he was, and then fast forward a few hours later, he's in the hospital nursing stab wounds. So there's part of that knowing the setting out there and knowing kind of how you have to walk around, especially being someone high profile who's going to be a target.
And by the way, Revis knows he's from that area.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Went to college at Pitt. He understands perfectly the setup over on the south side. So the guys know that. And so there's part of that for me is hard to look past too, is okay, self-defense is going to be something that probably gets talked about in this a fair amount. And I think there's a lot of credence to it. We say it kind of, I bring up the Charles Oakley thing again because we kind of have to preface it with, of course, putting your hands on someone else that way isn't the appropriate response.
Right.
But in that situation, it's hard to really get out of that mindset when you kind of have to be ready for whatever could happen over there. And when someone rolls up on you and putting a camera on your face, walking up, asking if you're Revis, following him around with that.
Let's agree on this because I'm with you, okay? So I said on the, one of the things I said as I'm setting up the story is, videotaping, fans coming up to you, that stuff happens. It comes with celebrity. This didn't happen in an airport. It didn't happen in a public setting. This is happening at 2:35 in the morning. And with that being said, if Darrelle Revis or any celebrity or any person feels threatened, I have no issue with him defending himself, of course. Now, if it's just Darrelle Revis was in a bad mood and didn't like the fact that a couple of fans were videotaping him and decided to do what he did, then that's a different story. But if he felt threatened and he wasn't certain if it was a phone or a weapon, I'm totally fine with Darrelle Revis defending himself, if indeed that is the case. Anyone should be entitled to defend themselves. Again, it's not an airport. It's not daylight hours. It's 2:35 in the morning. And Darrelle Revis knows that area and knows it very well. So I think you make some pretty good points there.
Yeah, it's really interesting to look at because the videotaping is something that everyone at some point, even now, with as popular as TMZ's made that style of reporting, you go out with that assumption that, there's always a camera there, but there's a difference when you're confronted with it the way he was and in the area he was.
Do people, that's had to happen to you before, right?
Oh, yeah. actually like a really similar situation to that when I was in college at the end of the night, because part of this is Darrelle Revis took his phone away and tried to delete the video.
Right.
At the end of the night in college, it was...
Because you went to Notre Dame, you played football. You play football at Notre Dame. Within that circle, within the Notre Dame circle, you're as big a celebrity as Darrelle Revis is to the entire country right now, right?
Well, and
you're a big celebrity in college.
And given the year, like that was the year we went 12-0. So
right.
There was a lot of hype around the team in general, but you come back after a night out and someone found their way into a place that we were, and it's not like anything was going on.
I want to hit pause right there. Are you about to tell a story where someone came in and tried to videotape you and some Notre Dame football players?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk about it next.
Dan Le Batard.
America's fastest growing sports show.
Stugotz.
Because when you start from zero and you have one viewer, you're growing fast.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance line. Choose Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline for the best total engine protection you can get. And now your SportsCenter update. The Jets cornerback Darrelle Revis has been charged with robbery, terroristic threats, conspiracy, and aggravated assault for his alleged involvement in a street altercation that witnesses say left 2 men unconscious, according to Pittsburgh police. DeMarcus Cousins told ESPN's Ramona Shelburne he intends to sign an extension to stay with the Sacramento Kings. Cousins can sign a 5-year extension worth up to $219 million this summer. And finally, the Roots will perform an original NBA-themed musical with special guests before the All-Star game. For all the latest headlines and information, tune into SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
He's struggling, people. The struggle is real. He is hurting.
Ooh.
He's got, I would say, 3 full shots left of steak sauce. And Mike, you got to space these out. I'm telling you, because we can all sense that you're struggling a bit.
I've realized pace is going to matter here, because if I kept going at the clip I was at, you were probably going to be doing the show alone.
Yeah, so space them out. Because I don't want to do that. I mean, I can do it, and I have done it. It's not very good, and it's terribly lonely, and I'm sad doing it.
Well, listen, and I've got plans for the rest of the weekend in Miami, so I want to be able to get to those.
We're going to get to, I want this story from your days at Notre Dame in just a second. But, Mike, we were talking during the break. You heard Steve Kerr say that Draymond Green, and Draymond has lent his voice to it as well, that he's going to be the icebreaker in the West locker room during All-Star weekend, because you have this tension between Westbrook and Durant. And Steve Kerr said, Draymond will just walk in, he'll say something funny, and he'll mend the fences, and they'll move forward, and we're all on the same team this weekend. And Draymond said, I look forward to doing it. Whatever it is he's going to do. And you can imagine what Draymond's going to do when he walks into that locker room, thinking that with 2 sentences, he can undo everything that Durant did to Russell Westbrook.
He's so going to make things worse.
Well, not only that, I can't think of anyone in the NBA who would bother Russell Westbrook more than Draymond Green. Like, Russ wants nothing to do with that. He doesn't want to make up with Kevin Durant this weekend, and he certainly doesn't want Draymond Green serving as a bridge to them making up. Like, Draymond Green's annoying, dude. And Russell Westbrook, I don't think, that just doesn't seem like a personality type that Russell Westbrook would want to hang out with Draymond Green. So Draymond's going to kind of swagger into the locker room thinking he has all the answers, and he's going to try to get Durant and Westbrook together, and I think Westbrook's going to look at him like, man, the hell out of here.
Well, because they're personality-wise, they might show it in different ways, but they're really the same person, right? Like, Draymond Green is, if you gave all of Russell Westbrook's antics and outfits and subtle shade a voice, it would become Draymond Green. So you put them together in a room, and of course they're going to butt heads. That's where we need the camera, by the way.
Here's where they're different, though, Joe. Draymond thinks he's funny.
Right.
Russell Westbrook he doesn't think he's funny. He's not trying to be funny.
You don't think Russell Westbrook thinks he's funny with all the pregame outfits?
No.
He thinks that's fresh.
I think he thinks, right. He's making fashion statements. I think he thinks it looks good.
See, I thought he was trolling with that outfit.
No, and more importantly, he doesn't care if other people find him funny. He doesn't care what anybody thinks. Draymond wants everybody to think, he's Draymond. Right. He's a trip. He's funny.
There's wacky Draymond over there.
Wacky Draymond.
Right. And Russell Westbrook is as serious, at least I mean, we don't know any of these guys, but he comes off as a guy who looks really, really serious and wants nothing to do with Draymond Green's antics. And Draymond Green, the audacity of Steve Kerr and Draymond Green to think that over All-Star Weekend, those two can mend the fences between Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. I mean, the audacity on those two. First off, did it ever dawn on Draymond Green and Steve Kerr that Russell Westbrook doesn't want to make up with Kevin Durant? And Draymond Green is not the guy to do it. If someone's going to do it, it should be Kevin Durant. Hey, Draymond Green. I mean, I think Russ is – no, that's not going to end well.
No, and that's why I want the camera there, because everyone's trying to build up the 4+1 headline of what's it going to look like if Steve Kerr puts the Warriors 4 out there with Russell Westbrook.
Yes.
I have news for you. Nothing is going to happen in the game that's going to be that interesting with that lineup on the floor. Put the camera in the locker room when Draymond's trying to go there and do this nonsense.
I would love that.
You know who it's got to be? It's got to be Kawhi Leonard.
Oh, yeah.
That needs to be the bridge. Hey, man, we're trying to win a game. We're all here to have fun. Like,
Right.
that's the presence.
Just kind of mutters under his breath. Yeah, guys, come on. Like, put
serious,
it for a weekend. Just put it aside. Let's go. We're on the same team. Let's go.
Kawhi needs to be that guy.
Kawhi needs to be that guy. Yeah, I think you're right. This is a big mistake.
Like he'll just look in their eyes.
That's the thing. It's just a stare in each direction, and then they both kind of nod and shake hands.
Yeah. Right. This could end poorly for Draymond Green, and the Warriors' chances of winning a title. Roy, you're agreeing with me, right? Yes, this is not going to end well. If Draymond Green is going to be wacky Draymond Green in an attempt to bring those two together, it's not going to end well for Draymond Green.
Think he broadcasts this on the Uninterrupted?
Plus, there's a room full of Western Conference All-Stars in there that kind of like that they don't like each other and don't want the Warriors to be friendly with everybody. So I think DeAndre Jordan and DeMarcus Cousins are just going to be there poking them the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, man, can you believe all this stuff? You wouldn't believe what Draymond said about you, Russ.
I didn't want to be the one to tell you.
Right.
It's crazy. Talking wild, disrespectful.
Do you think Westbrook wants to play with the 4 Warriors? I think he wants nothing to do with it.
No way.
I wouldn't be surprised if Westbrook has already told Steve Kerr, I better not be the 5th guy in with those other 4. It's not me. I ain't going in with them. I hope Westbrook doesn't go in. I hope he's asked to go in, and he tells Steve Kerr to beat it.
I want to see the situation in which there's an inbounds for whatever reason. I know he's a point guard, but he's taking the ball out of bounds, and Kevin Durant's just right in front of him, and he'll launch a full court pass to avoid passing it to Kevin Durant.
Brings the ball up the court, just looks around, and everyone drives straight at the basket.
He blocks a Durant shot.
What if there's a 2-on-1 situation, fast break, and Westbrook has a chance to just lob one up to KD? What do you think's going to happen there?
He does. No, man. He beams it at him. He pump fakes a lot. That's a great idea.
Yes.
You go up. He pump fakes, and then he just goes up with the other hand.
So he pump fakes the lob to Kevin Durant to make Kevin Durant go up for a ball that's not really there and make him look silly, and Westbrook just lays it in with the other hand.
Then you go up and dunk on KD.
Yeah, I love this.
Ooh, he sets him up just to dunk on him.
Yes.
Oh. That's what the world needs.
We're tuning into this game on Sunday. It's Sunday, right? We're tuning in to see the interactions between Westbrook and Durant. That's it. That's the only reason to tune in this year. It's got some intrigue this year.
To see them on the court together.
Yes.
And also, there's an element of, seeing him, Harden, and Durant all together again, too.
Right. I don't think he wants to be on the floor with Durant at all. At all. At any point.
If we're being serious about, the true icebreaker guy, it should be Harden, right?
Yeah, it should be Harden, yes.
The I did it first guy?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Yeah, Harden's got to bring them together. I think Mike's right on that. All right, we'll get to Gojo's story next.
Don't forget, you can hear more of my sons Dan and Stu weekdays starting at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNU.
Hey, Low Post listeners, this week on the podcast, we have Howard Beck of Bleacher Report talking Serge Ibaka, Kevin Love, the MVP race, and his great feature on Thon the Curve.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance, creators of the Name Your Price tool. Choose from a range of coverage options and pick the price that works for you. Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance line. And now your SportsCenter update. The Miami Heat have announced that they have hired former player Shane Battier as the Director of Basketball Development and Analytics. The Anaheim Ducks center Antoine Vermette has been suspended 10 games for abuse of an official. Vermette slapped his stick against the back of linesman Shandor Alfonso's legs after losing a face-off to the Minnesota Wild captain Mikko Koivu. During the third period of the Ducks' 1-0 win Tuesday night, Vermette will appeal the suspension. And finally, Bill Belichick will be the voice of a new World War II documentary. This Sports Center is brought to you by JCPenney. Gentlemen, come in and stock up on select styles of Levi's, like men's Levi's 505 regular fit jeans for just $41.65, or save an extra 20% off on select items with your JCPenney credit card and coupon. That's getting your pennies worth, JCPenney. For all the latest headlines and information, tune into SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
I now know the way to Roy's heart. He just looked at you in a way that he's never looked at me. He usually looks at me with disappointment. Was there a hockey story in there?
Oh, yeah.
You nailed all the names, right?
Did I get all the names right? I was so concerned.
I've never seen Roy, like he gave you a nod of approval. He was gazing at you. And he's never looked at me like that. Ever.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I enjoy everyone down here. Roy's approval means more than anyone else's here.
As it should.
That was my great white buffalo coming down here.
Right. Well, because Roy's approval is genuine. It's real.
Oh, exactly. Like I know,
Yes.
I know for the most part when Stugotz says anything nice about me to take it with a grain of salt, to understand that somewhere in there's a benefit for him.
Of course. Yeah.
In saying something kind to me.
Mm-hmm.
Roy doesn't have to do that.
Nope.
Roy's above that.
And Roy won't do it.
No, he won't.
Ever. Amin Al Hassan joins us. What's going on, Amin?
Nothing much, guys. I'm in the Big Easy. I'm at the Technology Summit right now, having problems getting in because, well, you guys know why.
Why is that?
It's kind of implied, Stu.
I didn't ask that question, Amin. I didn't ask the question.
Stu gets it. Go, Joe. You're kind of new around here. You're going to learn.
No, I get it. I just want to hear you say it.
No, it's all right. They know.
They do know.
Wait, so you're not getting into this thing?
I don't know. I actually have to come back out because of, to talk to you guys, but my guy inside was saying he's working on trying to get me in, so we'll see how it goes.
What do you mean he's working on trying to get you in? What does that mean? He's working on trying...
There's an extreme vetting process.
I know, exactly. I'm on a national show every single day with Rachel Nichols, Tracy McGrady, and Steven Jackson, and all these other wonderful luminaries. It's somehow no cachet to get into NBA events.
Amin, you were a big supporter of mine in general, but yesterday, as I did my free throw challenge, I took 100 free throws, and you believed in me, and you were one of the few that believed in me, and I'm kind of disappointed. And what I'm disappointed about is this thing started off as me trying to hit 78 out of 100, but then Dan put other caveats into the deal, like if I hit less than 50, then I would have had to dress like Paul Feinbaum for an entire week on the show, hair included, all of it. And suddenly for me, it became about just getting over 50 and not getting to the 78. So I hit 58 out of 100, which is better than Hassan Whiteside. It's better than Andre Drummond. It's better than a lot of NBA players. Impressed, disappointed. How did I do? Did you check out the video? Because I think what everyone got from that video is they saw the form, they saw the athletic ability, and now they know I'm not lying. I am no longer lying about how good of an athlete I was in high school.
Yeah, I mean, Stu, what Stu's talking about is in the middle of the show when Dan was discussing all the finer points of the deal. I texted Stu and I said, Stu, I believe in you. I think you can get this done. I actually thought you were going to hit the 78, and I thought you were going to have the Stugotz show for a week.
Yeah.
I guess it's glass half full or half empty. You know, I'm a little disappointed that we're not going to get the Stugotz show, but I'm happy that you silence your critics and your naysayers, and you just got to use that as fuel for your fire, kind of like Michael Jordan.
Okay. But no one really won, right? Like, no one really won because I don't have to dress up as Paul Feinbaum. No one won here. Everyone's a loser here. No one won. I don't have to dress as Feinbaum. I didn't get to 78. There's no payoff for anyone. None.
Well, there is a payoff. I mean, not having to dress like Feinbaum is a payoff for you.
Yes,
right?
but not for the audience.
But Stugotz winning does nothing for anyone.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yes, correct. I want to talk to you before we get into Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant and the comments that Draymond Green has made this past week about James Dolan. We were talking during the local hour, and I think the Heat have a very interesting decision on their hands. I wanted to get your thoughts on it with Dion Waiters, because they have him on a one-year deal at $3 million. He's playing as well the last, let's call it 20 games or so, as well, if not better than Dwayne Wade, who's the guy he essentially replaced down here in Miami. Waiters is going to get a lot of money here in the offseason, and I'm wondering, A, how much, and then B, do you think it's going to come from the Miami Heat?
Oh, how much is a tough question, because we still got a ways to go depending on how he finishes the season out. And then you got to kind of take stock of who the available talent is going to be this offseason. Obviously, it's a lot less deep than we thought it would be probably about a year ago before Russell Westbrook signed his deal. So it's tough, because I think what Dion Waiters is fighting, not only his the perception of his talent, so did he miraculously get better, or was he always this good? And B, the perception that the reason why he's able to play this well is because he's got an opportunity on the team that lacks guys like that. And so if you're a better team with better complementary talent, is he willing to take a step back, right? It's like flying first class, and then you got to go back to coach. I don't know if Dion Waiters has the temperament to go back to coach, but we also know that him flying first class isn't going to take the team anywhere. So it's one of those things where I don't want to call it empty stats, because obviously the team is winning and doing a lot better in the last month or so.
Right.
But at the end of the day, what's the ceiling for this Miami Heat team where Dion Waiters gets to do what he wants offensively? Not very high, right? But if that's the only way you can get that kind of production from him is if you let him do what he wants, well then, that's not really a proposition that you want to sign up for long term. And I'll throw in that Pat Riley historically is the guy who buys low or sells high, right? So he's not going to buy in, I don't think, into this Dion Waiters hype and pay him a bunch of money based off of 40 or 50 really solid games.
So Mike Ryan and Stugotz have made a blood pact that if the Miami Heat would re-sign Waiters, they believe that if you're going to build around guys going forward there, you've got Hassan Whiteside, you've got Dion Waiters, and you want to build around one, not both of them there. If you had to pick one of those two that you think the Heat would and could build around going forward, who would it be?
Probably Whiteside, because I'll tell you why. Because first of all, he's always going to have stats that pop off the page, even if we know that there's a lot of filler in there. And second of all, just the dearth of big men in this league, right? So Dion Waiters is a 6'4" shooting guard. Got a lot of those. There's a ton of those everywhere. Not too many 7-foot big men who can, block shots and finish in the pick and roll. And I say that not because I'm waving a Whiteside flag, but I'm saying if someday you need to move him, you can move him because there aren't enough bigs in the league. Whereas if you've got a bad contract in Waiters, there's tons of 6'4" shooting guards that love to shoot and don't know when to say no. And so there's not going to be as big a market for someone like that if, I'm thinking worst case scenario, if you're trying to unload that kind of deal.
The intrigue of this weekend's All-Star game is to see how, I think for many, is to see how Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook interact with one another. Let's start here. Because Steve Kerr keeps saying that he's going to put the 4 Golden State Warriors on the floor together. Do you think Russell Westbrook wants to be the 5th guy in that equation?
No, and I don't think the Warriors want him to be the 5th guy. To be honest with you, I don't think Durant and Westbrook will be on the floor at the same time. I'd be surprised. Because why would Steve Kerr make his own guy feel uncomfortable?
Right.
Because it's obvious Russ won't be uncomfortable, right? He just doesn't. He's not wired that way. But KD is. He's a sensitive guy. Why would you antagonize your own guy by making him play with someone who just a week ago they were dang near about to come to blows? So that doesn't make sense. The other reason it doesn't make sense is you guys are such suckers. You don't see the Ponzi scheme that's being played right before your eyes. 2 years ago, the Warriors played an All-Star game and they had Clay and Draymond and Steph at the same time. And who did they play with? Kevin Durant. Yep. Because the guys get in his ear and say, "Hey man, isn't it fun playing like this? Wouldn't you like to?" I call it the Suge Knight death row speech. If you're tired of your ownership, all up in the videos, dancing, taking all the shine, why don't you come over to Golden State and we'll treat you right? And so here we are. A couple of years later, Durant is in the fold. You got the 4 guys. Do you want to play him with Westbrook, who has no option of, or even desire to join you? Or do you play him with DeMarcus Cousins or Anthony Davis? And you say, hey, man, I heard your franchise is terrible. Man, that stinks. We'd love to have you here. We'll throw you lobs all day. You want to shoot threes? We love it when people shoot threes. Come on over here, man. Don't waste your time over there with some losers.
That would kill Charles Barkley inside. I know that much. What do you make of Draymond Green coming out and saying he thinks he can be a mediator for KD and Russ?
That's an awful idea, man.
It is an awful idea. I heard you guys talk about it. You're absolutely right. The last person in the world I would want to mediate anything, is Draymond Green. Lovable guy, but you know the type of guy who means well, but you know for sure it's only going to make things worse. Somehow it will come out much worse than it was if he had just left it alone.
If there's a guy in that locker room that can make it better, it has to be Gordon Hayward, right?
Why do you say that?
Oh, it's Gordon Hayward. I mean, level-headed kid. Everyone respects him. Yeah.
Does everyone respect him?
I don't know. I just figured Gordon Hayward is the perfect guy. Like, it certainly can't be Draymond Green. I feel like Gordon Hayward in that locker room is everything that Draymond Green is not. Very disarming presence.
Sure. I think disarming presence. There's got to be some weight behind what's being said, right?
Yeah.
Why are they going to listen to Gordon Hayward? Like, hey, dude, none of us know who you are.
Yeah.
You know? So I would say James Harden would be the guy, right? He played with both guys. Come on, guys, we're friends. You know, you always have that third friend who's like, you guys need to stop fighting.
All right, so it's DeMarcus Cousins. It's going to be Cousins.
It's Cousins.
Yes.
Exactly.
Do you think there's any chance, if they do play on the court at the same time and KD puts up a shot, that Westbrook tries to block the shot?
I'd pay a lot of money to see that.
Do you think there's any chance, if on a 2-on-1 fast break, that Westbrook has the ball, that he fakes the lob to Kevin Durant to make Kevin Durant go up for a ball that's not there, and then Westbrook goes up and dunks on Kevin Durant, who's already up in the air?
I think that's got a lot more of a chance of happening because there's got to be some subterfuge of, hey, okay, I'm just going to try and play basketball, and then, oops, change my mind. And then he flips the script on him.
All right, enjoy the weekend, man. Say hi to Le Batard for us, and good luck getting into that conference, which sounds dreadful, by the way.
It is. I don't know why. And by the way, I'm the only one who's not wearing a suit. This is bad news. Everyone's looking at me weird. I don't know.
It's definitely not the suit.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend.
Keep grinding.
Go, Joe. It's 11:15. I'm just telling you, you got 4.5 shots of steak sauce to do.
Oh yeah, no, I finally got back to a good place here physically.
And your dad is just relentless, texting me saying that you are shaming the family. Shaming the family.
He's never cared about anything I've done professionally as much as he's cared.
He
about
cares more about how you consume the steak sauce than how you do on radio and TV. Yes.
He clearly cares more about this than he cared about my football career. That's why I'm here.
Dan Le Batard.
More information has become available. The GOAT is blind. I want to apologize publicly to the GOAT that I called an idiot because he needs a duck costume because he's blind and riddled with anxiety.
Stugotz.
So I walked that back. I'm sorry about that. I've erred. It's one of the great mistakes of my career and of my life. So, I'm sorry, GOAT.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. And now your Sports Center update. The Miami Heat have announced that they have hired former player Shane Battier as their Director of Basketball Development and Analytics. Anaheim Ducks center Antoine Vermette has been suspended 10 games for an abuse of an official. Vermette slapped his stick against the back of linesman Shandor Alfonso's legs after losing a face-off to Minnesota Wild captain Mikko Koivu during the third period of the Ducks' 1-0 win Tuesday night. Vermette will appeal that suspension. And finally, the thimble has been removed as a game piece for upcoming editions of Monopoly. The move is a part of a campaign to select the next generation of game pieces. Hashtags, emojis, and even a rubber duck may soon replace dog, cats, and hats in the next edition. For all the latest headlines and information, tune into SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Roy shook his head in disgust on that final story. You're upset about this as well, right?
Furious.
Yeah.
How do you think you're just going to reinvent Monopoly all of a sudden?
I'm with you.
What did the thimble ever do to anyone?
It's a good question, and some things weren't meant to change, and I feel like Monopoly is one of those things.
Is there a place in society where a thimble is still relevant besides Monopoly?
Sewing, right?
Yeah, sewing. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's a fairly obvious answer to that question, though, Mike. Steak sauce is getting to you, huh?
I think I'm dying.
TV just played a rejoin, by the way, on ESPNU. He just slammed down another shot. Did you guys see that? He did it stealth because he knows his dad's coming on in just a second here. So he's trying to get his dad. And dad is lighting me up on the text because Mike is shaming the entire family right now by not chugging the entire bottle. But they just showed on ESPNU the rejoin of Golic eating the donuts, me getting my head shaved because Golic ate donuts. I think he ate more than the required 36. He ate like 40 and then had an omelet and then did sit-ups and push-ups. Because he's a Golic, because he's a man, and he joins us now on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Are you more concerned about your son's performance consuming the steak sauce, or are you more concerned about your son's performance on radio and TV today?
Oh, without question, the steak sauce.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
That's what I figured.
No doubt about it. I mean, and right now, Mike, I think what you're doing is, and this happens to athletes, and Mike, you'll know where I'm going. You play down to your competition. So right now, you're sitting with Stugotz and the dudes in the shipping container. Now, understand that the donut challenge, Stugotz blended up donuts down his face and embarrassed himself.
Yep, smoothie.
Okay, and I crushed him in that. And then I had the whole crew there challenging me to eat an onion. I not only said I would eat an onion, but I made a bet with them that scared the living hell out of all of them, and they wouldn't bet me. So when it comes to food, you got to lay down your dominance. And right now, Mike, you're sitting there, and I think you're sitting by that group, and I think they're rubbing off on you. How much more of the steak sauce do you have?
I got about 2 shots.
Yeah, 2 big
Pick it up
shots.
and chug it right now.
Oh, my God.
And chug it right now.
Oh, my God.
All of it.
Oh, my God.
Is that what you want, Dad? Will that make you love me?
Oh, my God.
Yes, it will. Yes.
Hold on a second. Hold on, Golic. Mike, hold on. Not Gojo. Gojo, you chug it if you want to. I'm talking to your dad right now. Mike, these are big shot glasses. He just chugged one. He just chugged one.
No.
Don't do this.
Don't do it yet. Do not do it yet. Do not.
Do it.
Do Mike, 1 second, Mike. Order, please. Mike.
Yes.
Yes, there are 3 Mikes here. Mike Golic Sr. I'm confused.
I'm crazy right now.
Mike, are you sure? Because I am telling you, your son doesn't. I've been around your son enough. He does not look right. There have been a couple of times where we have all sensed here that he's going to throw up and maybe had to go to the hospital. His eyes are tearing up. Are you certain? Because you're his dad, and I know you love him, and you're a caring man. Are you certain?
You have given me all that information, Stugotz, and with that information, I say, Mike, you chug that damn thing right now.
Oh, my God.
Right now.
Oh, my God.
Get the defibrillators ready.
Oh, my God. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God.
He's not going to make it.
He's not going to make it, Mike.
What do you mean he's not going to make it?
Mike, if he dies, will you be disappointed?
Here's the thing. Mike, if you have to throw up, you lean over on Stugotz and you puke all over him. Number 2, if you're going to go down, you tell one of those guys to go in the Clevelander and get the biggest food platter there is, and you get carried off on the food platter.
He can't talk.
Trying to piece my life back together here. I actually like that second idea. We probably need to run with that. Is lunch here? Starving.
Attaboy. You feel better about yourself?
I wouldn't call it better.
He's struggling, Mike.
I feel something, and it's different right now. I have to say, this was way harder than yours, though. Way harder.
God. Oh, my God.
The donut challenge is embarrassingly easy.
Okay, listen, I think I would agree with that, but some things, that we're known for that you just have to gut through. I mean, listen, how many times on the field did you gut through things? You just got to gut through it, and you just have to deal with the consequences after the fact.
I'm going to be dealing with a lot of consequences. The unfortunate Hilton and their fine restroom facilities are going to be dealing with the consequences.
Well, Mike, and here's what we're leaving out, Mike Golic Sr., is that so there's 4 shot glasses in here, and there were remnants in each of the shot glasses, so I've combined them, because Mike has to drink all of this. A bet's a bet, as you know, Mike.
We've consolidated the backwash.
So now he's actually about to do, I would say this is a quarter of the shot glass. So he's about to do his third shot of A1 steak sauce. So just
do it. Should be no problem. Do it. Don't even think about it.
I'm looking at Chris's face right now. I think he's going to be.
Mike, if he dies from doing this, not that we want that, not that we're wishing that, but he will have died a hero, right? Is that fair?
Are you? I would. As he died, I would call him Leonidas. That's what I would do.
That's what I want. I want a funeral pyre if I go out. I want you to guys take me out behind the Clevelander and just build a funeral pyre. Yeah, Mike Ryan, shoot the flaming arrow into my corpse.
We shall give you a Vikings burial.
Mike, you know I'm going to be there in a couple of days. We're going to be down there together. I will light you on fire. Okay? That's my love for you.
That means a lot to me, Dad. I think that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
This is amazing.
That's the relationship we have.
It's gotten emotional in here. I'm going to drink some more A1.
What a segment. Oh, my God. He's done. He is done.
Good.
Mike Golic. Guys, let's give it up. Let's give it up.
Good job, Joe.
Let's give it up.
And thank you, Golic Sr.
No, I'm giving it up for Golic Sr. That's what I'm giving it up for. Give it up for Golic Sr. Yeah.
Need a little push. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
You're a big part of this.
Every now and then we just need a little push, and I just thought you were playing down into the competition a little bit. You got to separate yourself from that group there. They're a fine group, fine group of men and women down there, but when food is concerned, you got to separate yourself. We are the Golics.
Keep working.
I mean, is there a better way to end it than that right there? We are the Golics.
Golics are about to have a heart attack.
Well, just one Golic.
Yeah. No, we are the Golics.
What a tremendous segment. Somehow I feel like it took a shot at me. And all of us.
Yeah, all of us.
Did you sense that?
Oh, I mean, he called you cowards.
Yeah.
Basically what happened.
I mean, playing down to the competition means if you were sitting next to him, you would have drank the entire bottle in one shot.
I see your chest moving,
he's
something's
he's in bad
coming
shape.
up.
No, he's in bad
a little
shape.
bit.
He's in bad shape.
And I see you forcibly pushing it back down.
The next read is going to be a battle. Going to be a battle. There's a lot from. It's all right in here, man. It's all contained right in this region.
Sorry, man. All right, I have an interesting idea for the dunk contest. We'll discuss it next. I don't really want to discuss anything next other than this. But I do have a good idea for the dunk contest. I think it's a good idea.
It's a great idea.
You like it, right?
I'm in on it.
The guys aren't in on it.
It's an idea.
It's an idea. We'll tell you about it next.
Dan Le Batard.
Our Punctuation Hall of Fame, I feel like, is racist. There's no enye. There's no umlaut. Is there anything that's black punctuation?
Stugotz.
Roy, help me out here.
The eggplant emoji.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
It's time to find out what's on the menu at Buffalo Wild Wings. It's men's college basketball, Virginia Tech at number 4 Louisville, number 3 Kansas at number 6 Baylor, Pacific at number 1 Gonzaga. Hockey Day in America this Sunday in the NHL, Capitals at Rangers, Red Wings at Penguins, Blackhawks at Sabres, and Bruins at Sharks. And Sunday night, it's the NBA All-Star Game. That's what's on the menu, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Mike Golic Jr. Gojo in for Le Batard today. Le Batard taking a day off. Mike Ryan is beaming. He is looking at Ric Flair on First Take right now on one of the TVs in our studio, and he is glowing because Mike loves him some Ric Flair. We all love Ric Flair. There's nothing not to love about Ric Flair.
Yeah, two goats together, Stephen A. and Nature Boy Ric Flair. But it makes me happy because ever since Ric Flair joined our show, came in studio, I sort of struck up a friendship with Ric Flair, and I know how much going on First Take means to him. This is it's a legit dream. It's a weird dream for the Nature Boy to have.
It is.
But he really wanted to be on First Take, and there he is,
right,
living out his dream.
Right.
Nature Boy.
Us having that dream is understandable. Ric Flair having that dream is a bit odd, but you're right, it is his dream. I mean, I feel a little bit betrayed by the Nature Boy today. We made a video together, and I think that's probably what got Ric Flair, not anything else he's done in his entire life.
No.
The video he made with me is probably what got Ric Flair on to First Take today, and I feel it was supposed to be me and him versus Stephen A. and Max, and I feel a little bit betrayed, I got to be honest.
I think it's a 16 World Championships.
Yeah.
Probably has something to do with it.
Yeah.
It's good that you know where you stand now, though.
Mm-hmm. How you feeling there, big fella? You are struggling, man. You got some pizza in you, so you feel a little bit better.
Yeah,
right?
a little bit of pizza. I've covered up the A1 with some other stuff. Got to be honest, feels a lot better than I was expecting for that last flurry there. I think I'm still on the adrenaline from having my dad scream at me on national radio.
Everyone on Twitter is comparing your family, the Golic family, to the O'Doyles from Billy Madison. Everyone. I mean, all my mentions, they're flooded with. It was such a great way for your dad to close out the segment. We are the Golics. If you ever do a show together, that should be the name of it. We are the Golics.
Nah, 3 words. We are the Golics.
Here's my idea for the dunk contest. Dominique Wilkins is going to join us in about 10 minutes. Love Dominique. I only want to talk about dunks with him.
I just want to know what it's like
to be able to dunk
like that.
Like that. Well, all right, before I give you my idea, do you think Dominique Wilkins, who's in very good shape, I have no idea how old Dominique Wilkins is. He's got to be approaching 50, right?
He's 57 years old.
So he's approaching 60. My goodness. But he's in great shape. If he wanted to right now without any training, do you, Gojo, think that he could summon up one dunk like he had in the 88 dunk contest or the 86 dunk contest? He skipped 87, I think. Either he or Jordan skipped 87. Do you think he could summon up one dunk, like one old school dunk?
Going in raw, I don't think so.
If he trained, do you think he could do it?
I think if you gave him like a calendar year,
right,
knowing that was the end game, I think he could get in shape enough to maybe touch that one time.
Yeah, but not a trick. Like the real question is here: can he get up there and dunk it still? Like a two-hand jam.
Oh,
traditional jam.
He's 6'8".
He's 6'8", but he's also close to 60 years old.
I think he would. Well, we'll have him on in 10 minutes. I'm going to ask him that, but I think he would laugh at that. I think he could absolutely do that. Just a two-handed, just your run-of-the-mill dunk.
I mean, no, I don't think he can. I don't think he can right now because he's 57 years old. Like, I understand he's 6'8", and that helps him out, but like Dwayne Wade is a lot younger, and he struggles to get up there. He's been denied by the rim a couple times.
Do you guys agree? Like, Guillermo, do you agree with this? I think Dominique Wilkins could dunk. In fact, I still think Dominique Wilkins could do like a tomahawk.
No chance of that. I mean, okay, he's 6'8", so he puts up his arm. He maybe reaches like 9 feet with his arm stretched out.
Right.
Could he jump up a foot and dunk with one hand? Maybe with some training. I don't know about two hands.
I don't think right now he can get out there on a court and jump a full foot.
Back, Chris?
Billy said this earlier. I think for the older guys, they should have a little bit lower of a basket. We can do a dunk contest.
Oh, the adjustable rim. Yeah, I
you
like
put it
that.
at 9 feet, and then you can have Jordan and Wilkins do it again.
Where do I have to? Are you saying I have to set it at 9 feet?
Yeah.
And they could do all the old school dunks? No. Where would I have to set it where Dominique Wilkins, because here's my idea. Because the dunk contest is done. It's done. There's one guy participating. I've never heard of him. I don't know who he is. This year, there are 4 participants, and one of the guys I've never heard of. And it just doesn't have the same attraction that it had back in 88 when it was Dominique and Michael Jordan, where the stars were dunking, which hasn't happened in a long, long time. My idea is to have a Legends dunk contest. Fat Chris, you like it? I see you nodding your head. A Legends dunk contest. I think it would get monster ratings. I think if you told Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins to train for an entire year, that they would be able to summon up one last time some old school dunks, like 5 or 6 of them. I really think this could happen. I think both of them could do it. Jordan would have to lose a lot of weight, but I think it could happen.
What about a Legends dunk contest into a pool? So they're jumping already from higher up.
Okay, yeah.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Okay, yeah, so they don't have to worry about up. It's down.
Yeah, they go down.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Soften the landing, too, because I got to be honest, the going up part I think they could get back to a little easier than we're giving them credit for. It's the landing. Like, you'd basically be watching this like you watch NASCAR, which is waiting for a crash.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be watching this dunk contest expecting catastrophic injury from someone on here, so the pool would take that out.
Michael Jordan's 6'6". I know he's the greatest of all time and all. He's put on some weight.
Yes.
You know, the mileage. Do you think he can dunk right now?
Well, 100%. How old is Michael Jordan?
Let me find out his age. You think he can dunk right now 100%?
I think he could dunk. I think Dominique could dunk. I think Bill Russell could dunk.
Think Bill Russell could dunk?
100% Bill Russell could dunk.
How old is he?
He's got to be like 75, 80 years old.
Happy birthday to Michael Jordan, 54 today.
Wow, he's 54 today.
54 years old. Could he go out and celebrate with a dunk right now? My guess is yeah.
Oh, Jordan could dunk. Yeah, Jordan could dunk.
Bill Russell's 83 years old. He cannot dunk.
There's no way Bill Russell.
He's 6'9", 6'10". He can dunk.
He's like Dominique Wilkins size.
You think Kareem can dunk? You're talking about a run-of-the-mill, just throw it to the rim. Like it's an
Kareem can.
All right, we'll discuss it. All of this with Dominique Wilkins next.
You want more of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz? Tune in, starting at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNU.
Hi, this is Maury Moreland Morrison, here to tell you Geico has more than just great savings. Much more. Yes, while Geico could help you rack up more moolah faster than you can say metamorphosis, they've also been the fastest growing auto insurer for more than 10 years. That's more like it. Furthermore, Geico has fast and friendly claim service. That might seem like an oxymoron, but it's not. All the more reason to say no other auto insurer has more than Geico. Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show, like Dominique Wilkins, appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance line. And now your SportsCenter update. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Antonio Brown have officially begun the process of negotiating a new contract. He has 1 year left on a 5-year, $42 million contract he signed in 2012. North Carolina State head basketball coach Mark Gottfried will be fired at the end of the season. And finally, Kanye West is reportedly recovering from memory loss. For all the best headlines and information, tune into SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Okay.
That explains a lot. I was worried about him for a while.
Yes, that does. It explains everything, really, doesn't it?
I heard he deleted a lot of those tweets going a while back.
Right.
His Trump-supporting tweets.
Doesn't remember them.
It's a good place to fall back on because no one can call you on that.
Yep. Dominique Wilkins is judging the Verizon Slam Dunk Contest this Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT, and he joins us right now on ESPN Radio. Dominique, how you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
We're doing well. We were just having a discussion before you came on. Now, our producer, television producer, Lorenzo, sent us video footage of Dr. J dunking at the age of 63. Now, he's struggling to dunk, Dominique, I have to be honest with you, but he is dunking. And we were debating whether or not you could still dunk. And before you answer that, because I'm certain that you can, I think that you can, the reason we were discussing this is because I came up with the idea, I want there to be a Legends dunk contest, where if I give you and Michael and some other guys a year to really get in shape and train, you guys come back and do a dunk contest next year, I think it would be a ratings monster. I think people would love to see it. Dominique, I think you'd love to do it. But let's start here. Can you dunk right now? Can you dunk? If I handed you a basketball, regulation-size basket, can Dominique Wilkins get up and dunk right now?
Absolutely. No question.
There you go.
Today,
right now. But like, would it be a standard two-handed dunk, or can you do like a windmill or something? Like things you did back in like 88. Can you still do some of those?
No way.
All right.
It's one of those fingertip dunks.
Okay, one of the fingertip. But what if I told you could train for a year? If you train for a year, could you do any of the dunks you did back in like 88, 85, 88, 87, 86?
I can do it right now, and Michael, if you put it down to 9 feet. No problem.
Okay. Done.
We can make it happen today.
Done. Do you like this idea, don't you?
Yeah. You lower it to 9 feet, man, we can do some creative things.
Oh, my God.
See, we're on to something. We can make this happen right now. Do you think Michael could still dunk on a 10-foot hoop right now? I know you can. You're a bit taller than him. Do you think Michael could dunk on a 10-foot hoop still?
Oh, yeah. I think so, yes. Yes.
Wow. Because these guys, Dominique, the guys, our producers, they were saying they didn't think that you could dunk. I'm not throwing them under the bus. They didn't think you could dunk. They didn't think you could dunk, and I told them that you could dunk. Dominique,
ask them how much money they got.
The records show that I had a lot more faith in Dominique than Michael Jordan.
He did. Mike, yes, our producer did have a lot more faith in you than Michael, because he feels like you keep yourself in better shape.
Well, you know what? I think we all, to a certain point, we keep ourselves in pretty good shape. But again, if you're not working out, those things are very difficult.
Right.
If you hadn't had any type of, workout. So, but, we stay in pretty good decent shape.
So a Legends dunk contest, 9-foot basket, you and Michael. Oh, my God. Dominique. I mean, come on. Dominique, revenge. I mean, revenge because he robbed you. He robbed you, Dominique, back in 88. You know that. You were robbed, Dominique.
You know what? But the fans got their money's worth. And that's why this year's Verizon Slam Dunk Contest is so special because, you have guys that people don't even know who they are, in a sense. And they're, being selected to be in this contest. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to it, especially with DeAndre Jordan, who's the first big man since the Dwight Howard to be in. And so, I'm looking to see what his creativity is. I'm also looking forward to fans of really, getting more involved in the dunk contest. And I think the biggest thing is that you get a chance to see guys that you don't normally see throughout the year on a big stage.
You're good, man. I mean, you took my question, and you just weaved it right into the promotion for this year's dunk contest. Dominique, that was good.
Well done.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
a lot of practice.
Yes, because I don't know one of the 4 guys that is participating. He's on Phoenix or something. I have no idea who he is. I have no idea.
Well, the great thing about it, that fans with Verizon Unlimited data plans can tune into the NBA and get, all the content that you need for free on HD all weekend long. So this is a great opportunity for people to really get involved in the Verizon Slam Dunk Contest this year. So we want people to definitely tune in.
He's got the talking points down. It's incredible.
It is amazing.
You cannot defeat him.
I am more impressed now than I was in the 86 dunk contest. I swear to you. That's the one you won. That's the one that you beat Jordan. Then you took 87 off and you had the rematch in 88 and you were robbed. But I am more impressed with you right now and how you promote the Verizon and the dunk contest and the whole weekend than I was at any point in your career, Dominique. Yes. Yeah, well, you didn't answer it at all. You just promoted the dunk contest. It was fantastic.
Well, that's radio at its best.
Yeah.
The Verizon people have to be standing and applauding in their building.
That's why they hired him. It's tremendous. Dominique, do you have, I've always wondered this. Do you have, is there a single dunk? You had so many great dunks. You were it was so much fun watching you. For me, it was so much fun watching you as a kid growing up. Do you have a dunk that you are proudest of? Because you had so many great ones. I'm wondering, is there one that stands out for you?
You know what? It's in-game dunks. It's not really, for me, dunk contest dunks. That's my favorite. It's the in-game dunks on guys. It was my favorite. Be it, against Boston or Milwaukee when baseline against Bob Lanier. Mm-hmm. And Bob Lanier, we talk about this to this day, and then he said, "My kids hate you." He didn't speak to me for 9 years after that dunk. He said, "But now my grandkids hate you now." That's how long it's been.
Wait, can you take us through that dunk? So it was an in-game dunk. Because when I think of in-game dunks, I think of the one Jordan baseline on Patrick Ewing at Madison Square Garden, which was fantastic. Can you walk us through the dunk on Lanier? Do you remember it?
Well, yeah. What happened? It was at the end of the game, and they threw it to me on the box, and I went to my right to the middle, and I got cut off where the teams collapsed on me. And I went back to the baseline and jumped, and I remember turning in the air, and Bob Lanier covered the basket. And as he was coming down, I was still going up. And I dunked on the buzzer, and I remember he stumbled, and he watched me all the way down the court. And after that, for 9 years, he didn't speak to me after that dunk. That's a true story. True story.
So ferocious, he didn't speak to you for 9 years. So embarrassing.
9 years.
It's incredible. Is there one guy? Who would you say is the biggest name that you ever dunked on? Like the other guy that you consider on your level of star power that you dunked on?
I mean, in that area, a lot of guys. Bird, Ewing. Man, there's a lot of guys. I mean, Kareem. I mean, it's been some guys.
Dominique, I'm watching the video right now, you and Lanier. I am watching it right now. You pumped. There's a pump there. You stayed up a lot longer in the air than he did. I am watching it right now. I'm surprised he's spoken to you ever again, to be honest with you. It's so embarrassing. It's so bad. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that it took 9 years for him to talk to you again. I'm surprised that he ever spoke to you again, period.
We talked about it yesterday. He said how his kids hated me. After he said, "How can you let that little skinny kid do that to you?" And many years later, he said, "Now my grandkids hate you." He said, "So this is tradition in my family now."
If we gave you a 9-foot hoop and him again right now, could you recreate that?
No, I got a bad knee.
Bad knee. Okay.
I can't do all that twisting and turning. Now, if I can go straight ahead, I'm good.
How often do you think about that 88 dunk contest? For people in the audience who don't know, back in the 80s, it was legendary, and there's a lot of young people in the audience, Dominique, so just give me a second here because they're unaware of this. 1986, maybe the greatest dunk contest of all time, was Jordan and Dominique Wilkins, and Dominique won that one. 87, I think Jordan was hurt. Yeah, 87, Jordan was hurt. Then 88, they had the rematch, and you could certainly make the claim that Dominique won. Jordan ended up winning it. So Jordan got one, Dominique got one. I'm wondering how often. So you won 86, he won 88, and the 88 one is the one that people claim that you got robbed. How often do you think about the 88 dunk contest?
Well, people never let me forget it. But it shows you how relevant and how big it was.
Yes.
That they're talking about it over 26, 27 years later. That's how big it was.
Have you spoken to Jordan about it since?
We talk, we never talk about it. The dunk contest, we have other things we talk about because we knew what we brought to the table. At the end of the day, the fans got their money's worth.
Yeah, they most certainly did. Dominique Wilkins with us here on ESPN Radio. Again, Dominique will be judging the Verizon Slam Dunk Contest this Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT. I have to think, that's a hard thing for you to judge because you're really judging them against yourself, right?
Well, you got to be a little bit more compassionate, when you're watching these guys, and you got to give them the benefit of doubt. You also have to, again, you have to be willing to look past yourself. You can't use yourself as a measuring stick. You got to look at what creativity these guys have, and you got to give them credit for that. You can't compare yourself.
So basically what you're saying is you have to remember that none of these guys are as good as you.
Right. Did you hear that? The compassion part, right? You have compassion.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, yeah, come on. They're not, Dominique.
I didn't say that. But you know what? Again, everybody's different. Every era is different. So you got to give each person or each era their own credit, their own creativity. And I think what these guys are going to do is try to show us that they can be relevant and they can be creative. We already know what Gordon is going to bring.
Right.
The other guys are unknown, so it's going to be something that's very anticipated tomorrow night.
Dominique Wilkins with us. I'll let you go on this. And again, the dunk contest tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT. Dominique will be judging the Verizon Slam Dunk Contest. We had Kevin McHale on early this week, and he told a great Larry Bird story. And I'm wondering, Dominique, because growing up in the 80s, 90s, you had so many great matchups against Larry Bird, against those Celtic teams, playoff matchups, regular season matchups. Do you have a good story for us about Larry Bird? Larry Bird being a competitor, being a cocky competitor, being great at the game of basketball.
He was a fierce competitor, almost like he was possessed. That's how competitive he was. And I don't think you ever see a competitor like that, not like that, ever again. He was, if you didn't come ready to play, that you got embarrassed. I remember when Kevin McHale got 57, I forgot who he had it against, and the next game was against Atlanta, and Bird said to McHale, I'm going to break your record against Atlanta. And I'm like, oh, no, not against us. Right. Well, he was right. He got 60 that next game.
Most competitive guy you played against, huh? More so than Michael, even?
Yeah. Well, no, they were competitive in different ways. Right. Michael is probably the most competitive guy I've ever witnessed, ever. But they had different type of competitiveness, in their own special way. Magic was different. Jordan was different. Bird was different. I was different. All of us had that competitive edge, but it was in different ways.
All right, Dominique's going to be judging the Verizon Slam Dunk Contest this Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT. Dominique, this is how, first off, we appreciate the time. This was very enjoyable for both of us. I'm telling you, this is how it's going to work, okay? People are going to steal the idea we just discussed on the radio. They're going to come to you with this Legends Contest 9-foot rim, and I'm telling you, don't sign any papers, don't agree to anything until you and I talk, okay? Because it's my idea, and I don't want anyone stealing it, all right?
I got you, buddy.
All right, thank you. I know you got me, and I got you.
All right, man.
All right, Dominique. Enjoy the weekend, man.
Dan Le Batard.
What are you up to these days, Dominique? You're broadcasting for the Hawks, right?
Stugotz.
No, I'm vice president of basketball, the Hawks part owner.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
If you missed any of the show, you can listen to all 3 hours of the Dan Le Batard Show on demand in the ESPN app, plus our Miami-only hour that airs before the show. And now you can subscribe to our Best Of podcast. It's all available on the Listen tab of the ESPN app. The Dan Le Batard Show is brought to you by Upside. Now save big on travel and get a big gift card every trip you buy. You'll love Upside.com. That's Upside.com.
Texts are all over the place. They don't like when the show construct is broken up. Dan is off today. Gojo's in. I don't know what to tell you. And I'm reading this text only because he sounds so shocked. Stugotz has actually put together a good show today. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with Gojo, the steak sauce, Mike Golic, and Dominique Wilkins, and the shipping container. I did nothing. Has nothing to do with me. Someone says Dominique was boring. I don't care. Go to hell. Go away.
Okay.
Don't come back.
Okay.
Because that wasn't boring.
All right, George Lopez.
Listen, I'm not Le Batard. I am not Dan Le Batard. He's the greatest for me, for my money, and maybe I'm biased because I sit next to him and he's my boss. But for my money, there is no one.
Quite literally, for your money.
Yes. Doing better interviews in sports media than Le Batard. I think Howard's the best ever, Stern. And Dan's a close second. But what you just heard with Dominique, for me, for my standards, that's the best I can do. So what I don't need on the back end of it is that was boring. Go to hell. Don't come back. And when you're there, say hi to Art Briles. And you might see Paterno there. I don't know. And eventually Sandusky going to be there. All of them.
Multiple Sanduskys.
Yes. That's all of them. Am I not allowed to say that word on air, Mike?
I'm just going to bypass saying hello to them on my way there.
Yeah,
I think
that is true.
It's already bad enough.
Yeah. You'll have other things in your mind, I guess.
You'll probably see Phillip Rivers on the way down in that purgatory, right? Because he's
orchestrating a final drive down 4. What'd you do to get in here? Drafted by the Chargers.
You just see Phillip Rivers throwing a back-breaking interception inside the red zone. Dadgummit.
We're gonna have Adnan Virk. Show gets better, man. Adnan Virk at 12:30 in about 8 minutes. We only do this when Dan is off. I think that hurts Adnan's feelings, but we only do this when Dan is off. Golic and I do it on Sundays, weekend observation, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Yeah.
We do a segment, it's odd, a segment with Adnan where you can call in and you can ask him about movies, baseball, and Canada, and that's it. Those are the only 3 topics you can discuss with Adnan. It's an odd segment, but an enjoyable segment. It's your favorite segment, isn't it, Gojo?
By far.
Yes.
Adnan, to me, is such a phenomenal cross-section of a bunch of different things.
Yes.
Because we go movies, Canada, and baseball. You could easily do hockey with Adnan. You can do a bunch of different things that maybe at this network on all different times aren't always, we're not a big... Anyone else hear that, by the way?
Yeah, we all heard it.
I heard
Who
Poppy.
was that?
That was Poppy screaming, "I smell pizza."
I was wondering if I was hearing that in my headphones. I was like...
He is the best. He is the absolute best.
Poppy's still the only person I've ever been starstruck to meet.
You just met him. That wasn't the first time you met him, though,
The
right?
last time I was down here filling in, I met Poppy, and I remember shaking his hand and just having no idea what to say.
Here he is, the legend.
I smell pizza.
No!
Oh, CC. Very intrigued.
He is the absolute best. Oh, my God.
It's a legend.
All right, so we're going to have Adnan on. He'll take your phone calls. It's 786-456-4837. Again, the number for Adnan is 786-456-4837. Baseball questions, movie questions, and Canada questions. We do that with Adnan Virk next on ESPN Radio.
Dan Le Batard.
It's rare that you see an acting performance and are like, whoa, that's a lot better than a lot of people could have done.
But you think if Daniel Day-Lewis plays the role of Fox Mulder, it's going to be as successful?
Like, yes, I think it would be even better. Because
they're wrong.
They're right. Okay, thank you.
Stugotz.
Yet again, Stugotz's perspectivelessitis making an appearance. The only one who could have done that is the guy who did it.
So Christoph Waltz could have played Rocky? You lose.
Did you really just walk off here with your flip-flops and turn your back to me?
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show, like Adnan Virk, appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. And now your SportsCenter update. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Antonio Brown have officially begun the process of negotiating a new contract. He has 1 year left on a 5-year, $42 million contract signed in 2012. North Carolina State head basketball coach Mark Gottfried will be fired at the end of the season. And finally, a single mother in Utah wanted her son to feel comfortable at Dads and Donuts Day at a school event on Wednesday, so she dressed in drag to come as her son's father for the day. For all the latest headlines and information, tune into SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Mike, what happened there? Why'd you give me that look?
That's a cute story. Did you hear that story?
Yeah, it was a cutesy-wootsy story, no doubt about it. Was.
Heartwarming.
Yeah, it was. Adnan Virk joins us right now. Movies, baseball, Canada questions. Lines are just jam right now. Everyone loves this segment. Adnan, are you upset that we only do this when Dan's not here? I feel like it hurts your feelings. I do.
I tuned in at 12:15, Stugotz, because I believe that was the text you sent me. That's what I was going to be on.
Right.
So I had this terrifying feeling when I was watching you guys on ESPN2 where it's coming up, and I see my ugly face, and I said, why isn't the phone ringing? Am I having an out-of-body experience? Have I already missed the opportunity? And then I heard you say that, and I started laughing, and I immediately tweeted, you can remove the I think. It definitely does hurt my feelings that you guys only do this, but Dan isn't here. But you know what? I'm thrilled to be a part of any show when it's with you guys. You guys know that.
Well, Adnan, you'd be happy to know that I was planning on having you on as we were leading up to the Oscars, and I was going to force you upon Dan. However, Stugotz wanted to use up one of your appearances here, and I think it would be too soon. So enjoy your interview with Sue and Go, Jay.
Yes, exactly. So Dan,
I appreciate that. I have to give some love, by the way, to Roy, because, you know, I'm finding out more and more about all of you. So Mike Ryan is now teaching me about the music, which I have a definite deficit with regards to. And Roy's tweets are fantastic. A lot of great political tweets. He definitely goes at people. And I love the Florida Panthers talk. He's a big hockey fan. There was a Scott Mellenby tweet the other day. So I love what everyone's bringing to the table. Once I figure out what Guillermo's bringing, I'm going to be really ready to roll.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Guillermo, now you got Guillermo all fired up.
Guillermo's furious.
I mean, he is furious with you. But at least, listen.
Chris didn't even get a mention.
Yeah, well, he doesn't know who Chris is. But here's the thing.
Chris, too, for the record. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Fat Chris. But here's the thing. You can go to sleep tonight knowing that Le Batard was receptive to having you on, okay? If that makes you feel any better. He was receptive to it.
Okay, that is actually does relax me a little bit, because we were at the point that I was going to start texting you saying, listen, does he not like me? Because, listen, I will get people who like me to vouch for me to Le Batard. Like, Shambi's my guy. Like, Kirkchen's my guy. Rosillo's my guy. They can all tell Dan, hey, listen up, Burke's all right, man. Like, maybe he's not your cup of tea, but he's a big fan of yours. So that does placate me.
I want to break news to you right now, and I'm going to do this in a very delicate way, okay?
Oh, God.
He does not care what Rosillo thinks. Doesn't care. Shambi, definitely. Rosillo, like if that's the angle you want to go. A letter of recommendation from Rosillo to Le Batard, not going to get it done.
And I got to make you feel better here. I know Stugotz, and I still don't think Dan likes me. So
thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. No bigger fan of the segment, or of me, by the way, than Mike. He got cut off mid-sentence because, Mike, you said, I like doing this segment with Adnan because you can talk movies, baseball, Canada, and even hockey, and those are segments that we do not. And then somebody said I smell pizza. So I want you to finish what the sentence was that you were going to say. We got waylaid by pizza.
That was Poppy.
I did, yeah. Poppy, very excited for pizza.
What were you going to say? I don't even remember.
Well, I was just going to say that a lot of those things don't normally get run on our air. They're not the things that always move the needle, quote unquote, but we get to play with all the toys that Dan won't let you play with. I'd like to think I'm an avenue for you to do some things you wouldn't get to do otherwise. 100%. Wink, nod.
Yep.
And Adnan's part of it.
By the way, one Dan question before we get rolling. Stugotz, I have to ask this because we mentioned Rosillo. Rosillo said Le Batard is the kind of guy who will text you and demand a response, but if you text him, it's 60-40. He will not get back to you. Is that true or false?
He won't. Well, yeah, it's true. He won't demand a response, but I guess in my case, you feel the need to respond. But yes, when you send him a text, it's not a matter, Mike, you would agree with this, right, Mike Ryan? He'll get back to you. There's 100% chance that he'll get back to you. It's just a question of when he gets back to you. It could be, within a minute, and it could be within a month. It sometimes could be 3-4 months later. You just never know with Dan, but he will get back to you.
Hang on a second. So his texting etiquette is porous.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I think it's totally fair. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
All right.
Just wanted to clear that up.
Listen, next time Golic and I are doing a show, we'll turn it around. You'll be our guest, but you can ask me any questions you have about Dan and anyone on the staff, okay?
Oh, trust me, I have hundreds. I can't wait for this to happen. Let's book this next month.
I can't promise I'll answer honestly. Let's go to we got a ton of calls here, Adnan. People love this segment. Let's go out to Mitchell. Mitchell, go ahead. You're on with Adnan Burke.
I want to know why Barry Bonds wasn't in the Hall of Fame, and the fact that he's not means that he was doing steroids when he was playing baseball. Correct or no?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've read, the Jeff Perlman book. I've read Game of Shadows. There's an avalanche of information that explains how Bonds was using the cream and the clear, and exactly at what point he was. And after he saw McGuire and Sosa and all the adulation that they received in the '98 season, he said, you know what, I can do exactly what those guys are doing if I was using the stuff that they're using. And once he bulked up, he started hitting all those home runs. But listen, I believe Barry Bonds is one of the 5 greatest hitters of all time. I think even without steroids, he would have been headed to the Hall of Fame. I think he's an ingrate. I get the fact that he's arrogant and widely disliked by everyone, and that, he's the kind of guy, what they would say about A.J. Pierzynski, that opponents hated him and teammates hated him a little bit less. Having said that, he was a superstar player and a remarkable player. And I look back, some of those numbers, fellas, like it's a 2002 World Series, like he'd get one pitch to hit and he would mash it. Like it was, his on base was like 640, he's slugging 900. Like those numbers were video game numbers. So I didn't care for the guy personally, but his numbers were extraordinary. And we're seeing the shift now with the so-called steroid guys. I think eventually Bonds will get in.
Here's what I need from you, because and I don't want to be demanding because you know how much I love you and we love this segment. There are so many people calling in that we need you to, just shorten these answers, okay?
No problem. I love when Le Batard does that to McGill. Like he chastises him. He's like, all right, let's go quicker, please, Ron. Next.
Yes.
But don't worry, I take direction well. Let's do it.
But I was being nicer. So
all right, start now.
Start right now, okay? Otherwise, it won't be so nice the next time. Let's go out to let's go to Mike. Mike, go ahead.
Hey, Adnan, is Rush the greatest Canadian band of all time?
People mention Rush all the time. I will go with the band, of course. I love Scorsese and The Last Waltz and Robbie Robertson, and one of the other guys is Canadian, so 2 of the 4 are Canadian, so I'll go with them. I will say the band is the best of all time, not Rush.
That's how you do it. Let's go to Mark. Mark, you're on with Adnan Burke. Go ahead.
Adnan, best Samuel Jackson quote, choose 1 out of 2.
All right, let's go to.
I'll give you the best Sam Jackson quote, and I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger. Of course, the quote from Pulp Fiction when he's quoting Ezekiel 25:17.
You are good, man. 786-456-4837. Let's go out to. Let's go to Corey. Corey, go ahead. You're on with Adnan.
Yeah, hey, Adnan. Love the podcast. Cinephile's great. Love this segment. I know how much you love Scorsese, so my question for you is, who's the Martin Scorsese of the sports world?
Oh, jeez. No, there is no Scorsese, because Scorsese is this titan among all. But, wow, I guess I'd have to say like an amalgamation. I will cheat and say that, if you combined Neil Everett's energy and Scott Van Pelt's wit and Steve Levy's presence and Max Bredas's charisma and everybody else's likability, that you finally achieve one Scorsese. But he's such a genius, I don't think you can find just one in the sports world. By the way, I'm taking it as a sports broadcaster, but if you're saying sports world, why don't I say Federer? Because I love Federer so much, and I bored Stugotz and Mike Golic Jr. on their weekend show of my love for Federer. So fine, Scorsese, Federer, done.
I can't get enough of your love for Federer. I love Federer as well. So does Mike Ryan. We all love Federer in the studio. Let's go out to let's go to Kern. Kern, go ahead.
Hey, how's it going, Adnan? I just wanted to know what the worst absolute movie you have seen in the last 2 years is.
Worst movie last 2 years, Adnan.
I watched Get Hard with Kevin Hart and Will Ferrell. Didn't pay money for it. Was on HBO. Had Kevin Hart in the podcast, so I figured it was research. Kind of start watching his movies. I felt like Mike Ryan when he had 12 hours in the cage. It was an experience I don't want to replicate. It was awful.
What movie should win Best Picture this year?
You know, it should be Manchester by the Sea, although I do find it funny the backlash against it. I've had some tweets of people saying it should be called Moping by the Sea or Melancholy by the Sea. It's just a bunch of sad white people in this wintry homeland lamenting their fate. But I thought it was an incredible movie. I love the script by Kenneth Lonergan. I thought Casey Affleck knocked it out of the park. I thought it took a story of grief and tragedy and also had unexpected humor in there. I think that was the best picture of the movies nominated. Of course, in my Scorsese bias, I thought Silence was the best movie of the year, but that got snubbed. It's only nominated for cinematography. So of the movies up, I think Manchester by the Sea is brilliant, but it's going to be La La Land. You could bet the house on that.
Daniel, go ahead. You're on with Adnan Virg.
Yeah, hi. I was wondering if you think the Mets, if all five guys stay together and healthy, if you think we're going to be serious contenders this year.
I think so. I'm picking the Nationals in the East right now, but I think the Mets are a really good team. But the problem is exactly what you said, if all five guys stay healthy. There was a time where they kept saying they've got all these arms, they can flip Wheeler, they can go get a bat. But then ultimately life happens, which is Matt Harvey gets delayed by surgery, then puts on weight, and then he's ineffective. And Syndergaard's incredible, and DeGrom's great, but all of a sudden all these aces not only becomes two aces. And Matt's is good, but he's not very durable. So I think the Mets are just never going to have all those horses operating at peak efficiency. That's why I think at best they're a wild card team.
Cameron, go ahead. You're on with Adnan Virg.
What is the greatest Canadian movie that you've seen?
Adam McGoyan is a great Canadian director. If you look up The Sweet Hereafter, that got some pub down south. It was nominated for Oscars. Ian Holm is in it. It's a terrible tragedy what happens with a school bus accident and how this family and the entire community reacts. Exotica is a film that was really good, also by McGoyan. But the highest grossing Canadian movie of all time is Porky's, if you can believe it. So if you want a big blockbuster from Canada, Porky's, way back in the mid-'80s. And that title indicates all they need to know about that film.
Such a good movie. I like this next question here. Interested in your response. Let's go out to Phil. Phil, go ahead. You're on with Adnan.
Hey, Adnan. It's Phil. Love the show, podcast, everything. Question for you is, with the Coen brothers signing on to do the Scarface reboot, is it going to be a blockbuster or bust?
Yeah, great question. Here's the trick, because I read this carefully, because I was thinking, what's the Coen brothers' involvement? And it says they're doing a polish. So what that means is somebody else has already taken a crack at Oliver Stone's script and updating it. The Coen brothers are doing a polish. To me, that's just like a light dusting. Like, I'm not sure how heavily involved they're going to be, and they're certainly not directing it. Antoine Fuqua, the director from Training Day and the updated Magnificent Seven, was attached to the project, is now no longer the director. So I think it's going to be a bust, especially because the Coen brothers aren't as heavily involved as I think they need to be for the movie to be a success. I mean, the original is such a classic, guys. Obviously, you've talked about it on your show so much with Miami and all the attachments to it. It's funny. The only option I think they'd have if they wanted to update it, and De Palma talked about this in his documentary De Palma last year, is if you put hip-hop music in it. If you put Jay-Z and Nas and all those artists and you put that music in there, that would be like an updated, rebooted Scarface. That, I think, might be kind of interesting rather than actually remaking the entire movie.
And I know you have kids, too, so you get out to a lot of these. Best animated feature for this year. Who do you think is going to win and who should?
I think it's going to be Zootopia, which was a lot of fun. I love Jason Bateman. He's that great smart aleck in the movie, and I thought it was clever animation. It was fun. It was sweet. I didn't think, though, Mike, it was as good as like an Inside Out from years past or Up to me is a great animated movie. I really like Moana, though, and we don't have daughters in our home. We have sons, so maybe they'd be surprising people. We liked a movie that was very sweet involving a female heroine, but I thought Moana had great music, of course, from Lin-Manuel Miranda. But I think it's going to be Zootopia. But next year, it's going to be Batman Lego Movie. That movie's awesome. No matter what age you are, Will Arnett, one of the best Batmans of all time. That movie's great.
All right, plug Adnan. I'm telling you, you crushed it. Every line is lit up. People want to talk to you. I could do this all day. Promote the podcast before you get out of here.
Yeah, it's Cinephile. Make CINEPHILE. Go to iTunes. Go to the ESPN app. And unfortunately, like Mike Ryan said, we're using up my one appearance now. Go to Oscar.com. The night of the Oscars, you're going to watch Jimmy Kimmel. He's going to be great. But if you go to Oscar.com, me and Ben Lyons are going to be on the red carpet. We're going to be on the Oscar stage during the actual broadcast, giving breakdowns from best live action short to best documentary to best foreign film. We're going to have it all covered. So the next time we talk, I'll have stories from Tinseltown, and maybe I'll have stories about, Ryan Gosling and hanging out with Emma Stone. Who knows?
You are big time. Next year, my only request is ditch that Lions character and bring May, okay?
Me and Stugotz as my +1. Consider it done.
Done. We're done. See you next year at the Oscars.
You can listen to the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio, and you can watch on ESPNU.
The NBA All-Star Game this Sunday.
Here's Curry behind the back, half-court heave on its way, and he hits it!
Coverage begins Sunday at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.